of fulfillment itself through success is really not filling unless your success has transitioned into significance. And many of us in here today, whether we are to the degree of success that we desire or not, have hit some layer of success and sometimes haven't maximized what success could do because we never crossed over into significance. Real success, real significance isn't what it is if it's gone overnight. Today, as we define you, as we define your business, we are defining longevity of your success into significance. All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on in the room today. I am just double checking all of our connections. It looks like we are on and live and doing well. So greet me. Let me know that you're here in the room today. Say hello. Let me know who I got in my corner on this 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, day number 2 of 7 days to define. And I'm so excited to be in this space with you all today. So if you are joining me for the first time, we are on day number 2. I would encourage you to go back and check out day number 1, where we are going through 7 days to define. We are going through the 7 mission critical attributes of elements that we need to apply to our life and our business to really bring a defined life, a defined business. We talk here as we have seen a lot of the new content come out about me jumping in the saddle with Defined Coaching and becoming one of the Defined coaches. We are touring all across this country doing one-day Defined sessions in offices and real estate offices and market centers and organizations and leadership groups and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're opening up our seats for one-on-one coaching, and we're diving into these type of elements that we are going to be discussing over the next several days of just extremely high value additive pieces of information. And so I want to say, hey, Michael, yep, absolutely. Good afternoon to you. Tamika, good afternoon. We are certainly praying for the family and the situation that we all are going to be embracing throughout the day today. So thank you for joining, though, in the midst of all of this. I'm excited about this. We are going to dive into something today that is a very special to my heart, just because it is something that I personally have worked very hard to not only pursue, but also to perfect, to implement all of that kind of fun stuff. So again, if you missed the first day, go back and watch it. We kicked off and using the acronym DEFINE, the 7 mission critical attributes. We started with the letter D, which stood for definition. And so we dove into what definition was, how to really discover definition for our life and our business, but then also how to apply definition, right? And so today we're talking about empathy. So we're going to go to E now, which is empathy. And I want to chat with you this afternoon about the empathetic advantage. In other words, how do we cultivate an understanding of empathy in our life and in our business today? And so I want to encourage you that as you're logging in, whether you're watching this live or on replay, do me a favor and just share this video, tag some people in it, somebody that needs to, just needs that extra oomph in their life and in their business. I want to be talking to my real estate people today. I want to be talking to my entrepreneurs today. I want to be talking to those that have a vision and an aspiration and a goal to do something incredible. One of the biggest things that we coach and train and teach here through Defined is that we are the ones that become responsible for our definition. We are on a journey to definition. We are on the journey to define this life, to define this business. Ultimately, we are the ones responsible to define our finish. And so how that looks is what's required to take our life off of automatic and put it on manual. Take back control of these areas that really we know can ensure some level of growth, expansion, and impact. I can guarantee you every single person that is hopping on this live today, again, whether you're watching in live or in replay, or whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on Instagram, I can guarantee you in some way, shape, or form, you have a desire inward to say, hey, I want to make an impact. Okay. And so if you want to make an impact in anything, if you want success to reign out in anything that you do, I want to know, are you with me today? Okay. Put a thumbs up in the chat box, like this video, do something. Let me know that I'm with a group of people today that is ready to dive into the second day 2 of 7 days to define, as we discuss about the empathetic advantage. Okay. I see Javidia's hand in the comment box. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon, and thanks for hanging in there with us. Let's get ready to rock and roll. So empathy. What is empathy? Okay. What really is the empathetic advantage, and how do we discover it? How do we implement it? How do we make it effective for us, right? Because all of the 7 things that we're going to go over, and as we're on day 2 now, of course, we're going to have 5 left, but all of the remainder of the 5 days, including today and the one we started yesterday, are all high level items that you can take and run with that would absolutely guarantee some type of turnaround, some type of shift in your business, some type of shift in your life that you are looking to make and create. Can all be done by way of these 7 things that we're going to be going over here today. So I want to say hello to one of my mothers, Mother Phyllis Thorne. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon. I certainly appreciate it, Michael. I virtually hear your air horn noise, so thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. I love it. So empathy. Let's dive into it. What is empathy? Empathy, by definition, is the ability to understand and to share feelings of others. Okay. Now, the sharing feelings of others part is an actionary step to this definition. But one thing I need us to understand today is empathy, by definition, is an ability to understand. Okay. Now, once you've understood, then you can share the feelings with others, right? But you can't share feelings with others until you first understand. Now, one of the biggest principles that we coach and teach here in my office is seek first to understand. You come from curiosity, right? You speak and move in order to create an understanding before you speak and move to create a resolution. Okay. And so empathy, by definition, is that it is the ability to understand. I need to grasp this concept. I need to see the full picture. I need to get the full gamut before I make a decision on how I'm going to react. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Life doesn't happen to you. You happen to life. The results of the moments that take place inside of that life are predicated upon the reactions that you have to them. Okay. So we are responsible for one main thing in this, and that is how we react. Okay. And the level of our impact to our reaction is determined by the level of empathy that we have with it. In other words, how far into this situation do we understand? Now, there's some things in our life and something in our businesses that we need additional levels of understanding in order to make it successful, in order for us to make it worth something. Okay. Now, everybody that's on this call today, I can guarantee you, whether you feel it or not, whether you agree with what I'm saying or not, you have a level of impact. You have a level of value. You have something to offer this world. Okay. And so the best way to squeeze out what that is to do it by way of gathering a full understanding. They always say knowledge is power, right? And so even if it's knowledge of what to do, and even if it's of knowledge of what not to do, you still have a reservoir that you can fill in with knowledge. Okay. So now there's different types of empathy. If you're taking notes, go ahead and write these down, or at least just come back and jot this if you'd like. But there's 3 different main types of empathy. Number 1 is cognitive empathy. This is where you have the ability to understand other perspectives. This is super, super powerful, especially for those that are in business, because, and especially my real estate people who's on here, let me talk to you all for a couple of seconds, because this is a very transferable principle. So you can take this and apply this really to anywhere. But for real estate, we are a relational business. Okay. We build our businesses off of relation. Hey, Michelle, thank you so much for joining tonight. My sister, the Pastor Michelle McGregor. And Michelle, even in your arena, right? In dealing with managing an entire township, we have a relational foundation. Okay. We've got to build relationships. In order to build relationships, we have to understand other people's perspectives. So going back to all my real estate peeps this afternoon, you know that the success of your business is dependent upon how well you build relationships. Real estate, along with many other industries, probably on this call today, are built by relationship, right? People want to do business with people who they trust, know, respect, appreciate, all that kind of stuff. And you don't get to those factors until you have built a relationship. And you can't build a relationship until you have cognitive empathy, which allows you to understand their perspective. Okay. We always know the saying, put yourself in the other person's shoes. That's what this part is. Number 2 is emotional empathy. This is where you're now able to do the second half of the definition, which is to share in feelings. Okay. And then number 3 is compassionate empathy. And this is acting with with the feelings of kindness. You're acting with the feelings of understanding. Okay, that's where a lot of the magic of the grassroots foundational items of empathy tend to happen. Okay, so again, we know what the definition of empathy is. We know how that applies to the three areas and the three types of empathy. Let's talk about now how to cultivate some of that empathy. Okay, number one, what we have to do is we have to develop self-awareness. Okay, now I want everybody at this moment to take a second and reflect back. I want you to do an inward view. Okay, I want you to turn your eyeballs inside for a minute here. All right, and I want you to reflect on personal perspectives. How do you see it? Right? How do you see your life? How do you see your business? Better yet, do you see it and are you happy with your life? Are you happy with your business? Right? Take a moment right now and just reflect on those personal perspectives. How do you view your success? How do you view your breakthroughs in business? How do you view your breakthroughs in life? Now I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I practicing, right, enhanced emotional intelligence? Am I practicing enhanced emotional intelligence? In other words, am I completely mindful of how I feel, how I perceive, how I'm viewing, okay, whether it is good, bad, or ugly? So we've got to develop a self-awareness. We have to understand, and this is one of the biggest things that we teach when we're in a defined room, is we teach, listen, this is where we're at, okay? This is where we know we've got to go. Now, I say no, we've got to go as a very fluid, a very broad terminology, because sometimes we don't know where this part is. Sometimes we don't know where this is where we got to go is. We just know that where we're at ain't it. And then that feeling of not it provokes us to come into the realization that there's a bigger place. There's a better place, right? Okay. And in that bigger and that better place, in between there and here and there is what? That is that journey. Okay. And we can't successfully take that journey unless if we have a level of enhanced emotional intelligence. In other words, I know how I feel where I'm at. I know how I feel of where I want to go. Now let's discover what it's going to take to get in between all of that. Okay. So to cultivate empathy, we've got to develop a self-awareness, number one. Number two, to cultivate empathy, we have to practice active listening skills. Now, for all of you who have an industry that you are represented of, that you, and especially in real estate, I mean, this is like, listen, this is hitting the nail on the head for all my real estate people today. This is hitting the nail on the head today. Okay? Because one of the biggest things that makes us successful is activating appropriate listening skills. Okay? We need to know what people are saying. And some of you who represent different forms of industry and stuff, you need to know what you are saying. And you need to know not only what you are saying, but what is being heard. And if we're on the flip side, am I hearing what you're saying and even hearing the things that you're not saying? Right? Am I hearing what is being said? And am I also hearing the things that are not being said? Active listening skills. Okay? So we do this, first of all, by focusing attention completely without judgment, watch this, or interruption. Okay? So to activate effective listening skills, we have to focus 100%. Our attention has to be 100% and a bullseye accurate. If that client is sitting there talking to you about their needs, their wants, and desires, we've got to lock into what those needs and wants, desires are, and we have to do it without judgment, or we have to do it without interruption. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a real life story of this here. Y'all ready for this? Okay? This individual client, we have no associations with each other. So to protect privacy, I'm not under contract with them. Okay? They are not connected to me in any way, shape, or form. They are not on my social media. I do not have any business with them whatsoever. There was a potential for me to have some business with them, but it went south. And here's why. Okay? And here is the judgment and interpretation side. Now, I'm not saying I judge. I'm not saying that I, interrupted, but I am saying that there are things along our journey in life and business that if we don't have a bull's eye focus, right, then it has the potential to sway us in a direction that could allow us to potentially lose that business or that opportunity. Okay, and so I was dealing with a client. It was a 20-acre farm of certified organic farmland. I was getting ready to list that house. They were a very eccentric individuals. They were very, and by eccentric I mean they were very earthy people, right? They were the individuals that believed that your foot has got to touch the soil of this earth, right? So they didn't really wear shoes because they wanted to be like one with nature and this, that, and the other. Fantastic, love it. I'm all for it 100%. Unfortunately, there were situations that kind of transpired from that took my focus away. And one of those things that took my focus away was in the middle of literally my listing presentation. It was feeding time for the 3-year-old, which or maybe 2. I don't know, just started kind of walking, kind of hobble walking, right where they get out of the crawling into just kind of stumbling phase, right? And so the child came around the corner, stumbled around the corner, and it was feeding time. And in the middle of my listing presentation, it was completely no bars held lunch. Okay. Now you can fill in the blanks and kind of see what I'm saying without that. But in that moment, because I've never experienced an individual who is so open in that type of setting, it threw my presentation off. And I was trying my hardest to stay focused because I didn't want to seem offensive. I didn't want to seem judgmental. I didn't want to be interrupted by my presentation. But at the same time, I had a fight to try to stay focused. And I realized that, if I have to fight to try to stay focused that bad with something that I'm legit like, good at doing on a normal day, then maybe this really isn't just the working relationship for us. Right. And so that active listening skills has to be driven by a specific bullseye targeted focus without judgment or interruption of the circumstance and situation. The second part of that is empathetic listening skills sometimes have to be developed by techniques, right? One of the biggest techniques is reflecting feelings. Okay, how are you feeling about this conversation? How are you feeling about that client? How are you feeling about this vision? How are you feeling about this adventure? How are you feeling about this endeavor, right? Like what's next for you, and how are you summarizing what you are experiencing in that moment? Okay, so in cultivating empathy, number 1, we're developing self-awareness. Number 2, we are practicing active listening skills. And number 3, perspective. Okay, perspective. This is where you are putting yourself in the other person's shoes. We just mentioned that a few moments ago, right? This is where we are understanding their experiences. We're understanding their emotions. And in sometimes, if you're in industries like we are in real estate, we've got to role play those scenarios. We've got to practice empathy in situations. We've got to scripts and we've got to, get the framework of conversation down, and we've got to hit those type of things. And why is this stuff important? Because again, we're going back to 7 days to define. We're going back to defining our success. We're going back to defining the breakthrough points that we're trying to hit, the ceilings that we're trying to break, the next thresholds of elevation we're trying to hit. We're looking to bring into definition of those. Why? Because that is in our purview of responsibility. So no, the market does not define who you are. No, the economics does not define who you are. Your sales are down. That does not define who you are. Business hasn't picked up. That does not define who you are, right? Things are a little tight. That does not define who you are. Things are falling behind a little bit financially. That does not define who you are. And the power in all of that is you. Okay. If you're asking, Ryan, what is the power in all of that? The power in all of that is 100% you, because it is you are the one that can either succumb to your worst enemy, which is you, or you are the one that can break through, right, and bring into definition by way of you. Okay. So we have to talk perspective. Okay. We have to put ourselves on the other side. We have to put ourselves in the other shoes. And like I said, sometimes to get us comfortable in that, we have to role play those scenarios. We have to practice those empathetic conversations. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about applying empathy in life, and let's talk a little bit about applying empathy in relationship. If you notice, I've been trying to keep this down to 30 minutes. So I want to kind of make this curve to kind of bring into a conclusion how to apply this in our life and how to apply this in our business. So by now we've understood what empathy is. Okay. We've understood how to cultivate empathy and the three ways to do that. So let's recap real quick. Okay. Understanding that empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings of others. There are three forms of empathy: cognitive empathy, which is understanding others' perspectives; emotional empathy, which is now sharing in their feelings; and compassionate empathy, which is now acting in kindness and acting in that understanding. And then how do we cultivate the empathy? We develop self-awareness. We focus on active listening skills, and we understand the power of perspective. How are we viewing it? Okay. So now let's take all of that and let's discuss over the last couple of minutes that I have here with you today. Let's discuss how to apply that into our life and how do we apply that into our business. Okay. So number one, applying empathy in life, we have to strengthen relationships. Okay. Now this is where communication comes into play on a high level. Okay, again, I know this is saying life, but this also is business, especially for those that are connected to a relational industry, right? So we're communicating with empathy to build trust and rapport. Okay, anybody that you are looking to support and get in your corner and to be able to serve or to servant lead with, right, requires a level of trust and rapport that must be built to successfully make that happen. Like I said a few moments ago in the beginning of this call, people want to do business with people that they trust, right? So everything that you do in life, when we're talking about applying empathy in life, is you have to earn the trust. You have to earn the rapport based on how you communicate with empathy. The second part to strengthen relationships is resolving conflict through understanding and compromise, which is the hardest thing for any human to do because we want to be right. We want to be able to be the ones to say, I told you so, right? Makes us feel, I don't know, for some reason it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we're somebody. It makes us feel validated. It makes us feel strong. But when we do that, it's affecting the level of connectivity through empathy that we could have. So to strengthen relationships by applying empathy to life, we strengthen relationships. Okay. And we do that by communicating with empathy to build rapport and to build trust. And then we use that as well when necessary to resolve conflicts through understanding and compromise. Now, why is it through understanding and why is it through compromise? It's through understanding because, one, again, perspective, right? I have to put myself in your shoes. It's the cognitive empathy. It's understanding how you see things from your viewpoint, right? And then compromise may see, hey, you got four, you put in two, I put in two, let's meet in the middle. All right, that's compromise. Okay, the second part to applying empathy in life is support of others. So you're offering genuine emotional support and validation. You're providing assistance and resources based on their needs. For those of you that are in business, I have to ask you, how are you serving others? Right? What thing are you doing that is setting yourself apart? What extra step are you going that is pushing you ahead of your competition? Okay. Enhancing personal growth is number 3 for applying empathy in life. Learning from diverse perspectives and experiences is super, super important. Challenging. Now, let me pause right there. We just got off a call, and let me tell you, if you're not part of the Defined Facebook group, I need you to join that. Okay. Send me a private message if you'd like. We'll get you in it. But we just did a Zoom that we shared on Facebook Live where we did the agent interview with a gentleman who mastered this concept right here of learning from diverse perspective and experiences by way of taking his own history, his own personal life experience, and doing something absolutely incredible with it when it could have, in reality, it could have bought him the ticket to destruction. If he wanted to just bow out from this life and say, hey, this ain't for me, and I'm just going to become a statistic, essentially, hey, sometimes those experiences, right? People feel validated in making those type of decisions. But when you don't succumb to the pressures of what experiences and diverse situations will give you, right, then you have an opportunity to increase and grow on a higher level. And so it's about expanding your worldview through empathy. Okay. Let's talk real quick as we get ready to wrap this up. How can we apply empathy to business? Number one, you have to remain a customer-centric approach. You have to remain in a customer-centric approach. Okay. Understanding needs, understanding preferences, and watch this, understanding pain points. Why is it important to understand pain points? Because when you do, then you can tailor a product, you can tailor a service to enhance that customer experience. Again, how are you serving others? What are you doing that is getting you a step ahead of the competition? What are you doing that's keeping you and your cutting edge in view? What are you doing to say everybody, is saying that they want to work with me because A, B, and C? Okay. Dusty Oglesby, a lot of our defined coaches, we teach something very powerful about high achievers, and it's this. The biggest thing that separates high achievers from those that don't achieve as high is that high achievers will do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it. Okay? Let me slow that down and say it again. High achievers do what they don't want to do, and they do it when they don't want to do it. Okay? And it's done that way because we understand pain points, right? We understand that this may not feel good, but I know it has to be done. So when I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it because it has to be done. Number two of applying empathy in business is effective leadership. Okay. So we're leading with empathy to do what? To inspire and to motivate. So if you are a leader in your industry or you are a leader in your organization and you are looking to build influence, lead effectively through empathy. Empathy will allow you to inspire. Empathy will allow you to motivate. And when people are inspired and motivate, they will move and support. Okay. And number three of applying empathy in business is conflict resolution and negotiation. Okay. So you can use empathy to de-escalate conflicts. You can find mutually beneficial solutions, which is where the compromise part comes into play. Okay. You negotiate with empathy to build trust and to reach agreements. Okay. So applying empathy in life, strengthen relationships, support others, and enhance personal growth. To apply empathy in business, remain customer-centric, instill effective leadership, and practice conflict resolution and negotiation. Okay? All right. I've got about 60 seconds left with you all today. Are there any questions that anybody has regarding the topic today of empathy? How to take the empathetic approach to bring to cultivate understanding, to bring understanding to our life and our business. If there's any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box. If not, I hope that something has been said today that will just add again to these 7 days of definition, 7 days to define, where we are breaking down the word define into 7 categories and talking about the 7 mission critical attributes for our life and our business. We started with definition itself. What does it mean? How do we discover it? And how do we activate it? Today, we are talking about empathy, how to take the empathetic advantage and bring clarity and understanding to life and business, how to cultivate empathy, and then how to apply it to our life and our business as well. So I hope that something has been said today that would have encouraged you, encouraged your business, encouraged your vision, encouraged your future. If you want more information on this, please stay connected to my social media. You can email me if you have any questions, ryan@mylifedefined.com. You can also visit our website at mylifedefined.com and be on the lookout for some additional information as we're going along the way. Now, if you are out there right now we're 2 days into this, okay? Something should have been said where you say, hey, I know I need this, right? And if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you need clarity, if you want to go deeper in something, if there's something that is not directly connected to this content, but yet you say, hey, this kind of like came to light in this, I would be more than willing to set up a discovery call with you. Please let me know if I can assist you in any way. Until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It is Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow, Thursday, for day number 3 of the 7 days to define as we talk about our next step, which is going to be faith. Okay. Until then, you all have a fantastic day today. God's blessings be upon you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right. Have a great day.